Hi, I'm Dr. Leslie Tay and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I have a classic zi cha dish to show you. This is my Jing Du Pai Gu. Now the original recipe uses pork loin, but I found that actually chicken breast works just as well, if not better than pork loin. And we'll be using Benja Chicken from U Farm. This is from Thailand, and this is the world's first brown rice fed chicken. Why brown rice? They found out that brown rice actually resulted in a chicken that is more healthy and the breast meat is more juicy and tender. This farm is also certified by NSF to be antibiotic free, so better for your family. There are no bones, no skin, so you get pure chicken breast. You can see that it's really nice and pink. So we want to cut the chicken breast around this kind of shape, this kind of size, because the beauty of this dish is you need to be able to pick it up with your chopstick and then you bite into it and it's tender and it's that texture. You see the grain of the meat goes this way. So what we want to do is we want to cut in this direction across the grain. Alright, so the first slice, just make sure that your hand is not in the way, your finger's not in the way. And we want to cut it about 0.8 centimeters thick. Use your hand to just put some pressure on the blade of the knife and you have a nice slice. And this is the kind of shape that you want, because when you use pork loin, that's about right. So when you pick it up with your chopsticks and you bite it, once you get to this end bit, you need to slice it a little bit different. Just slice it across like this. They're all about the same size and around the same shape. So that's all the cutting done. What we normally would do with pork, because pork is a bit more tough, we will pound it using a tenderizer. But because this chicken breast is already nice and tender and juicy, you don't have to do those extra 2 steps. We want to start by putting a little bit of salt and then some pepper. The ginger is purely for the flavor, because the original Jing Du Pai Gu has got a bit of ginger. So I'm just grating, say about 1 tablespoon of ginger. Okay, after you've grated it, you can just pull it out. So all you need to do now is to squeeze all that ginger juice, crack an egg. This is custard powder. Alright, and this is just some potato starch. Now, you just marinate the chicken. See how yellow it becomes because of the custard powder. If you don't have custard powder, just use potato starch. That's fine. It's just an extra. I just tell you everything so that you know the full recipe. Why is it called Jing Du Pai Gu, you may ask? Well, the answer is this. Last time in 1962, when Chef Hui of Dragon Phoenix opened his first restaurant, he wanted to come up with a dish that is a signature dish for the restaurant. And he just came back from Japan, so he had this thing called tonkatsu. You understand now why he suggested to use HP sauce in the original recipe, because they couldn't get hold of the Japanese tonkatsu sauce. You know, that sort of fruity, vinegary, sweet sauce that you always dip tonkatsu in. But nowadays we can. So you can actually get all this kind of, I am using okonomiyaki sauce. 2 tablespoons of this sauce. This is the thing that will give it that very familiar flavor. Then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of tomato ketchup. You will need some chicken stock powder. 2 tablespoons of vinegar. This is just normal rice vinegar. The original recipe has plum sauce in there, or you can use this is what you call kikyu, which is kumquat sauce. We will need to adjust the color, so I'm going to add in 1 teaspoon of dark soy sauce, and I'm going to add in a bit of this red coloring. So once you have this done, we are ready to go. See how that turns into that beautiful, familiar Jing Du Pai Gu color. Chicken's ready. It's been marinating for 30 minutes. Sauce ready. Everything's ready, so let's fry. I'm using a carbon steel pan today. So with a carbon steel pan, to make it non-stick, you need to heat it up first so all the pores will open up, right? And once it's hot enough, you add in your oil. Put in 1 layer of oil, This dish used to be deep fried, but I know that you guys don't like to deep fry at home. So I'm just going to show you how to pan fry it, and it's quite easy really. It works just as well. You don't need the oil to be too hot. Just want it to be sizzling hot. Okay? That layer of egg and flour will protect the chicken from being overcooked. So it cooks quite quickly, maybe about 1.5 minutes. You can see that it doesn't stick, right? The key is not to overcook it, because if you overcook it, then it will become very tough. Even if you have a good quality breast like this Benja chicken, if you overcook it, it will still become tough. And it becomes tough. Once the outside becomes light brown, it's almost ready to go. Because later on you'll be cooking it again with the sauce. Nice and golden brown like that. It's done. Once you discover how to make sure that your breast is nice and tender and juicy, I think you'll be won over. Now it's time to make the sauce. You're going to caramelize the sugar. They'll give it a nice, richer flavor. Just put a bit of water. The original recipe actually calls for a mix of brown sugar and white sugar, but if you do this, then you get that nice caramel flavor. Of course, you can skip this step if you don't want to do it. Again, every small little thing that you do adds another extra layer to the dish. You can see the sugar is now golden brown, so we add in the sauce mixture that we already done before. Just want to slowly cook it so that the sauce will reduce a little bit, thicken a little bit. All the sugars inside is caramelized, you know, and all the different sauces are really getting to know each other and making some nice music, you know. Yes, I can hear the tastiness. Put in a little bit of cornstarch to thicken it. See, the sauce is like sort of this kind of consistency. It's time to put the chicken back into the sauce. Now you remember to turn down the heat, right? At this stage, you don't want to overcook the chicken. The chicken is so nice and tender. Now you just need to coat it and make sure that the sauce gets absorbed into that layer of custard and potato starch powder that we put on outside of the chicken. You must give it enough time for it to absorb and coat it evenly. Another key to the whole recipe is this rose wine. Now, this is it's got that nice rose flavor. How do you describe it? Just want to put a little bit of the rose wine. Okay, you want to heat up the wine so that it's in flame, right? Okay, so then carefully, don't stand too close. The wine is actually burning away, so you want to put it into the. You can see all that flame coming up, and it burns away all the alcohol and gives it that nice, unmistakable fragrance. Oh, now I can smell it. Yeah, once the rose wine goes in, it really becomes that familiar Jing Du Pai Gu flavor. Alright, so now we're done. It's time to plate. And here you go, my Jing Du Pai Gu. Now the beauty of this dish, as I said, is the texture of the meat. You can tell, right? It's going to be nice and juicy and bouncy. And then, just这个味道. So make sure you try this at home, and maybe I can convince you that chicken breast is actually better than pork. Until next time, happy cooking.